What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Simply Cyber Firesides. I am your host, Gerald Auger. I am super pumped today. We have an absolute delight for you as we delve into the world of cybersecurity education and training. And I suspect we're going to go in a couple other places. We'll just see where the conversation takes us. Today, we're going to be joined by the brilliant Anthony Bendas. He's co-founder of Level Effect and also really into cool niche topics like Nintendo, Star Wars, a million other things that we got into in the green room. Now, for those of you who may not be familiar with Level Effect, the company he co-founded, he is a leader. They are a leader in cybersecurity training, and Anthony is one of the masterminds behind their renowned Cyber Defense Analyst Program. So if you're leaning towards blue, if you work in blue, if you're feeling blue but not sad, like cyber blue, trust me, you're going to love this. He's got over a decade of experience spanning penetration testing. He's got an OSCP, everybody. Back up, right? Security consulting, engineering. Anthony has a unique ability to break down complex security concepts into easy, digestible, practical knowledge. He's not just a theorist either. He's a seasoned practitioner who understands the real world challenges faced by cybersecurity professionals. Like, okay, including Carl's out there and other kind of IT-related technical issues. We might have to explain who Carl is to Anthony. We'll see when we get in there. As the architect of Level Effect's groundbreaking Virtual SOC training environment, Anthony has revolutionized how aspiring and seasoned cybersecurity professionals learn. This immersive platform provides hands-on experience, allowing learners to develop the critical skills needed to excel in today's dynamic threat environment and landscape. Now, before diving into the cybersecurity world, Anthony honed his leadership and operational excellence at Fairmont Hotels Resorts, where he managed large-scale operations, risk management, and compliance. So Kimberly can fix it. If you're in chat, we got a hospitality alumni in the house. His unique background brings a valuable perspective to his approach to security, emphasizing the importance of organizational strategy and effective communication, which, if I'm not mistaken, if you read between the lines, is GRC all day. So secretly, he has an OSCP, or overtly, he has an OSCP, but secretly, this dude is GRC all day, every day. Hashtag GRC Mafia. So get ready to gain valuable insights into the latest cybersecurity training, methodologies, the importance of hands-on learning, and most importantly for many of us, how to build a successful career in this exciting, ever-evolving field. We're going to be discussing a wide range of topics from the skills gap in cybersecurity to the future of cyber education. We'll also be taking your questions live, so please feel free to engage with us in the chat. So do me a favor, everybody, including ZMF, Mr. Wednesday, Justin Gold, J-Mod, James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet, my good friend B-Dubs. Oh my God, so many wonderful people in here. Chris Whitlock with the GRC Mafia, Unknown Mystic, knowing what's cracking. Guys, do me a favor, sit back, relax, and get ready to learn from one of the most innovative minds in cybersecurity training. Welcome, everybody. Put your Oprah emotes together for Anthony Bendas. Let's welcome him to Simply Cyber Firesides properly. What's up, Anthony? How are you, man?
What's going on, everyone? Okay, so I have to say, that intro, I don't think I'm ever going to get a better intro than that, so thank you very much. You built me up a whole lot. I hope I can deliver, everyone. That was awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And you know what? I'm actually kind of like, so I got to tell you, Anthony, I have over 1,500 videos on my Simply Cyber YouTube channel, okay? And one of my absolute favorite things to do is say I have a video for that, because it's just awesome to be able to give someone like a 15, 20, 30-minute answer with deep, resources and all that. I'm beginning to add to that list what you just said. Almost every one of my guests says, and if you're a regular Simply Cyber Firesides person, you know what I'm talking about. Like, people love the intros. I've actually been asked if I can like go with them on the road to be their hype man, like kind of like hype the crowd up before they come out.
Yep, definitely. That was like pure WrestleMania coming out of the gates, like some announcers introducing you to the crowd. That was legit what that was.
All right, yeah. I'll have to get the Vince McMahon walk coming down here.
Yeah, start that out.
So let's talk about your career, man. I mean, you are OSCP. You build Blue Lab environments. As I got out of the talk, you've got GRC, experience. like, how do you identify yourself? What kind of cyber professional are you? Who are we dealing with, Anthony?
I think you're dealing with someone who is, yes, a secret GRC lover, passionate all about it. Yes, there's a lot of the offensive and technical tradecraft in front of me, and that's where I'm at today, delivering training on that. But huge proponent of the GRC space, making cybersecurity actually relative and important and understandable. That's you're dealing with someone that kind of lives in both spaces, has a huge belief in making sure that it's done right in first place. Like one thing you're going to hear me say a lot is that good security starts with good systems administration, and truly that starts with good governance. So it goes all the way right up. And so that's the kind of person you're dealing with. I live in both worlds, love them both. And that's what I'm here to talk about today, is kind of how I really got this position and what I'm doing and what Level Effect's all about. So that's a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's get into it. And by the way, if you're, it sounds like you're, so we call it, we've lovingly coined it the GRC mafia, because GRC people have been crammed into corners stuffed into lockers for years. And now we're coming out and we're coming in full force. So you sound like you're a full member of the GRC mafia. So we welcome you, Anthony.
Part of the family.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to the family. So let's talk about Level Effect. So this is the company you co-founded. And guys, just so you understand, community, how this conversation came to be, Anthony and I got on a call, like probably, I don't know, like back in maybe August or something, September, August timeframe, and just kind of wrapped like, hey, you're a guy working in cyber, I'm a guy working in cyber. And he told me about Level Effect, and you guys know, like, support, inclusion, value and delivery, integrity. These are all core values at Simply Cyber. And I was getting all of that from Anthony and what he does for the Level Effect community. So Anthony, before we even like bring up the Level Effect and kind of talk about the work you've built there and the impact you've had and how people can experience that impact for themselves, take us back. Like why is Level Effect, and why are you so into community and helping people?
So I think cybersecurity truly is a people-centric type of industry and domain of the IT space, of the tech side of things. I think it's adversarial nature. I think it's a good guys, bad guys kind of thing. It's human psychology. It's a lot of people, just with a lot of tools in front of it. But at the end of the day, we're just here to try and have someone defend something from someone else. So it's a little gamified in that sense way as well. So community, if you get the community portion right and you get people involved and people are willing to buy into security, then it's easy, because it's just cultural at that point. And I think that's why we push that so hard. We have a huge community of our own. You hear us a lot in our training, and my background is, I think, what kind of led me to that path ultimately from the various tech domains, because of it being so people oriented and people centric. Truly.
I love it. So let's talk about Level Effect then. Like, what is it that you guys are doing? How is it helping the community? What's the impact? And you know, what's the deal? And then what have you done there? Because I know you are very much a technical person. You build architecture. You understand the whole scope, from the technical piece, from the inception, the strategy, all the way to the transactional stuff. So what is Level Effect in effect? What is Level Effect?
So Level Effect, I mean, like, so I guess to start with the name, right? So we kind of went with this naming convention of, you got to get to the right level to get to the right effect. A little corny maybe in some ways, but it kind of works and it's stuck with us, and it's just become our thing. And we've built our training programs around that entire notion and perspective this entire time. We started our training back, I think it was around like 2020s when we kicked off our first official live training. That was our Cyber Defense Analyst live program that we started way back. And even from the get-go, a lot of training providers at the time were trying to build training programs built around essentially like a rehash of the CompTIA Sec Plus theoretical certifications, which are good. I think they have a time and place and purpose, which I'm happy to talk about as well. But for our training from the get-go was built off the NIST NICE kind of framework, where we wanted to just focus on what is it that you need to be able to do the job. So very, very practical driven. We built our program to have you just specifically learn how to perform cybersecurity analyst triage competencies on the job with realistic scenarios. And we built essentially our first virtual SOC was in creation back in 2020, which we've refined since. So from the get-go, we trained you specifically on being able to perform the tasks of the job, as opposed to just learning generally about it. So kind of that military infusion was part of it, with the other co-founders, Greg and Rob, of that crawl, walk, run really just kind of getting you up to pace, doing several things well instead of a mile wide, inch deep. We've stuck with that, and that's, I think, a bit of a differentiator with us over here.
Yeah, and I've seen multiple people in chat who have said that they've worked with Level Effect, and it's had really, really profound impact. In today's market, practical skills do reign supreme, hands down. I mean, I myself have built GRC. Of course, I'm a GRC dork, right? So I have GRC, as I mentioned before. Like, my entire academy is GRC centric, but it was important to put practical skills labs in there, which is kind of wild for GRC, considering how I guess not technical it is, if you want to kind of like paint it with a broad brush, because those practical skills and that impact is important. So with your particular Level Effect program, I mean, if it's crawl, walk, run, I mean, I have to imagine you don't just put the student in front of a sim and say, there you go. Like, let me know if you have any questions.
I mean, no, not today. We don't. I mean, if our first initial program, when we were beta testing this, when we were first building it, we did, like, we kind of threw them into the lion's den right away. But that's why we betaed it. That's why we quickly tested it to make sure, like, what do we need to do? And we had built out our foundations, kind of our pathway, like our onboarding to the program initially back then, which has upgraded and been converted over to our current SOC 100 program that we've kicked off now over in October. Is what it was. It's when everything went live with that. So yeah, we definitely learned.
I love it. Now, there is a question here for you. It's from Ibrahim. He says, thanks for all your efforts. I'm assuming he's talking to you. He said, I just finished my first cert, the EEDA. I'm not familiar with that one, but he says, what's your advice for next step? I try to change careers to cyber from a system engineering role. Is the EEDA one of your certs, or?
No, that's not one of ours. I'd love to know a little bit more about it. I think, though, in terms of anything, if this is where you want to transition to your career from, I think a lot of it's going to depend. And here's the cybersecurity answer: always, always, it depends. But it really, truly is going to depend where you are currently coming from. If you're looking to system engineering, right, then you're going to want to be looking at infrastructure, scalability, redundancy, and anything that can support that. But that's also a broad area, right? Like, are you going to look into the DevOps space, or you're looking to security engineering, sort of tuning and tweaking detection rules? It can sort of get further deep from there. So I'd say maybe follow-up question: where are you coming from, and which domain in the engineering space are you really looking into?
All right, there you go, Abraham. So take it and run. That's, one thing I do love about our industry is how within some reason, you can matrix from red, like a red team operator can be a phenomenal detection engineer because they know what to look for and what to do, and vice versa. And SOC analysts, GRC people can become good SOC analysts because they understand, like, how to operate within the business constructs and all that other stuff. So it is definitely awesome and able to move around. We got some more questions coming in here. This is great. If you got any questions, awesome, drop them in chat. That's why Anthony's here. He loves to help people. Hold on one second. Says, this is Big K Homie. Now, I didn't screen this one, Anthony, in advance. Can someone with no degree from an unrelated job type really get into the industry with stuff like certs and training, right? Anti-Siphon's a training platform from Black Hills. Doesn't seem possible. Seems like a scam almost. So I do want to talk a little about the cyber workforce and the talent gaps and all this other stuff. So Anthony, what are your thoughts about this one?
Okay, so yes, it is going to be incredibly hard for you to get inside of this industry without experience. I think that needs to be said right away. We're definitely going to just tell you that that's the message. You need to know that that's what we say at Level Effect. It's not a scam. I think you just got to look at it from the perspective that cybersecurity is not entry level. This is a subset. This is a tier within a tier of IT. And if you don't have experience professionally, you just need experience in some other shape or form to demonstrate that you've gained the skills and knowledge through what you would have gained in other positions in the field. Now, that of course obviously means that your chances of getting in that way will be reduced in some regard because you don't have that professional pedigree. You can't actually demonstrate by just items on your resume, which a recruiter will look at. So you're going to have a harder time to get in. But that doesn't mean you can't have a strong GitHub with projects. Doesn't mean you can't network in the field that goes and get yourself involved inside of a talk or a meetup, training communities. That's all experience. I mean, if I was looking to hire an analyst that had no professional IT experience, but they were able to put together a vulnerability scanner of their own and implement it in an adjacent industry, and that company ran with it, and they were able to identify vulnerabilities, that's amazing. I'm going to be looking at that analyst instead of someone who has experience, but they didn't do anything with it. That's what I mean. So I think you need to look at, you just need experience to get to where you want to go, whether it's professional, personal, or a combination of both. You need to have it. And if you can demonstrate that, you will find a job. Someone will find an offer for you and put you on the team. Truly.
No, I love it. Thank you, Anthony. And one of the other things that I want to point out that's like super important as I'm looking at the Level Effect site, our industry, okay, has so many hucksters and charlatans that basically peddle these friggin' boot camps. And I don't swear. You can swear if you want, Anthony. I don't really swear, but like when something, I'm a pretty emotional person. And when something really bothers me, like not having multi-factor authentication on like major things, like that really bothers me. But like, it infuriates me that people are willing to exploit individuals who are trying to figure it out. Our industry is complicated, right? And they're trying to figure it out. And these people just like make a buck. And I friggin' hate boot camps. And I always tell people there are good ones. You should do your research, obviously. Go interview a couple of students who have graduated from it, get their honest perspective. That's probably the best way to do it. So Level Effect, I don't know if you guys call it boot camp, but it's a 14-week program, or parts of it are a 14-week program. And the reason I bring all this up for you, community, is because multiple people in chat are saying, I've taken their courses, legit, super legit, great education, great teachers. Anthony's awesome. So this isn't some type of like, I don't even know what the right word is. I don't know how hucksters do it, but basically this isn't like a magic show where we're trying to like push this thing. It's like there are legit ones out there, and I found one finally, and it's this one. So I do want to talk though, because I have an academy. I sell courses on GRC, but I always tell people, do the free stuff first. Like you can always do the free stuff first, and you should, because you might find out you don't actually like it. And sometimes free stuff is better than paid stuff, right? Like the money doesn't equate to to the actual quality. So looking at Level Effect, Anthony, all of this is a long way to get to your training courses. You have a beginner pay what you can series, right?
Yeah, we do.
Talk about that, please.
Yeah. So look, just kind of go back to that too, Jerry. Boot camp's a bit of a dirty word, and I think for a reason. I agree with you, man. You'll hear us say that our program fit within the bracket. Our CDA program fits within the bracket of a boot camp space. Because honestly, like it's a 14-week live instructed program. It falls within it, but it's not. We don't teach you a general approach to everything. It really is just training you for that cyber defense analyst position. We like to look at ourselves more of a trade school. We can't brand ourselves as that illegally, obviously, but that's how we train. We trained like a trade school. So it is a bit of a different approach. And we didn't get super big with a lot of the boot camps that kind of blew up in 2020 as a result, because the messaging wasn't as alluring, I guess I should say, But to talk about our SOC 100 program, that initially, like I said, that was our on-ramp course beforehand. It was our IT and cybersecurity and compliance fundamentals. We had built 3 free courses that you could take. And since then, we have now upgraded those courses considerably and put them into a pay-what-you-can mode of minimum $19. We're trying to make it affordable. And if you can't afford it, I am currently live streaming all those courses for free. We started in October. It's on the weekends on Twitch. We have a good community. I see some of the students here in chat. I am walking you through it. If you can't afford it, you can still go through it live and get the benefits from it, because we still want to hit the community and get everyone involved, because truly anyone can do this. A little bit of elbow grease, a little bit of love for IT, and securing a perimeter in any shape or form, I think you could do it.
Tony, sorry, Tony.
Tony's good, man. It's all good. I get Tony, Tone. I get a lot. So
Anthony, sorry. What's your Twitch channel? Because I want to pull it up for everybody.
Sure. Twitch. Can I use chat? I don't know.
Yeah, there's a private chat in there. If you drop it in there, I'll put it in there. And while he's doing that, I will say what Anthony was being professional and etiquette for. Any friggin' place that claims 6 weeks, 6 figures, guaranteed, they're full of crap. Like, you can't, like, get out of here. You cannot promise anyone a job unless you're the company that's going to hire them.
Yep.
Right? I mean, period, full stop. Okay. So here, let's look at this really quickly.
Yeah,
it bothers me, dude. Like
that was my Canadian niceness, you know, that's what that was.
Well, I appreciate it. I'll be like, I'm originally from Boston, so I'll friggin' throw that out there. Yeah. So this is the Twitch channel right here. I'll drop a link in chat. You can see he's with us right now, so he is not online. But we could turn notifications on. Oh, I'm not logged in right now. But yeah, level effect. So what is the stream schedule for this, Anthony?
Stream schedule is every Saturday and Sunday right now, from 10 to 2 p.m. Eastern time. We're doing it. We're going until March. We're going to go through the entire course. SOC 100 is a 5-month course, or rather a 5-month series of courses. There's actually SOC 100-1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We literally start you, and I'm not trying to shill here. I'm just talking about it. We literally start you with the Windows desktop, like literally, like here's how you open up Notepad. So we try to cater to everyone. By the end of it, you're going to have worked through a virtual SOC at a tier 1 level that we provided, triaging tier 1 analyst tickets. So things around email security, login event analytics, looking for patterns of adversary behavior, adversary tactics that may be demonstratable by some of those tier 1 level of threats that you would see. And then is where you would want to start our actual more premium trading, like the Cyber Defense Analyst Program and such. So kind of high level, that's what it is. Literally kind of starting you from the basics going all the way up.
Do you, so I'm just looking here. You can see on stream if you're watching, they've got a bunch of metrics. This is the SOC 100, 87 hands-on labs. That's pretty intense. 100 hours of curriculum. Windows OS, Linux, do you get into you must get into the command line, right?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hey, Canadian Anthony is starting to ease into the Simply Cyber vibes.
As soon as you start getting me going on the tech side and getting real into it, then yeah, like the pen testing desire to break things is going to come out. It will come out.
But this is a blue course. What are you talking about?
I mean, from me, you're going to hear it from me. But yeah, so from the Linux side, yeah, I mean, look, it's super important that you need to know how to use the command line for system administration, automation, tooling, open source projects. And honestly, it's like driving manual. Like if you drove an automatic car and you really want to get under the hood and start feeling what IT is like, hop on Linux, really start driving manual and get control of the engine in the car. You're going to appreciate things a lot more afterwards, and you're going to be using it, especially if you go on the technical side, you're going to be using it at some point.
All right, there you go. We found Anthony's sweet spot. So Anthony, let me ask you, and guys, I'll drop a link to the training here. Actually, let me just drop it right now so everyone can do that. Let me ask you one other question. I'm going to pivot in a hot second, but I do, just to finish this thought out. If you're streaming Saturdays and Sundays and you've already started, what's an expectation from somebody in the audience who's like, holy crap, this is awesome, I'll be there this Saturday? Is there anything that they should do to prepare because they've missed courses already? Or what's the on-ramp look like for this, people?
Yeah, first things first, go to our YouTube channel, and I have a playlist up there from the first stream. Every stream has timestamps inside of the description. Okay, so go through that, look at the timestamps. If anything sticks out at you, hop on the timestamps and review it. And go through as many videos as you can and get up to speed. And then hopefully you can sync back up with us as soon as possible. Now, what I would say is regardless of where you're at, just hop on the next stream as soon as you can, because then you're immediately going to be involved. I see there's several students out of the chat over here. They're with SOC 100. Like, you're going to meet them. You're going to talk with them. They're here. We got a lot of great people with us. They're super supportive and collaborative. So go in and just hop in the latest stream and get caught up as fast as you can on the other ones. I think you'll be all right.
Stephen, hold on, I'm clicking on the wrong window here. Stephen Abner drops a gem here. Guys, if you take the SOC 100 course, you can learn to exit Vim. So
it's possible. Yeah.
Did you do you start with that?
I mean, if I could, I would. I would definitely just torture students a little bit. I like to give them a hard time, but we definitely get to Vim. We want you to get your hands dirty, and we want you to feel good with technology. You know, we want you to feel like you can use it with purpose, and Vim is going to get you there more than Nano from a technical level. So
yeah, and make you feel confident in what you're doing as well.
Yeah.
Actually, this must be one of your students, IT Jacopo. He says, "Get your hands dirty." Is really what it encourages you to do. Which, by the way, like time in the seat, like I know it's kind of like I don't know, like a played out analogy, but like it really is.
Mm,
Like you can, the analogy I always use, Anthony,
yeah.
is you can read every cookbook ever, right?
Man, I say the same thing. Yeah, exactly.
All
Yes,
right,
yes,
here we go.
yes.
Did we just become best friends?
Become best friends. Yep.
All right, like this is awesome.
Seriously, I've said that in one of my streams. Yeah, like you could read all the cookbooks. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There you go. There you go. And just to finish the thought for those who
Yeah.
have never heard it before,
Yeah.
until you actually cook food and you find out like, oh, there's actually like a technique to it, reading the cookbooks doesn't make you a chef.
Exactly. Yeah.
So a couple questions that people have in chat that are related to what we're talking about. So I don't want to go too far away, but I want to talk about the value of programming. That's where I want to go to. But yeah, okay. So Rich Gaglione says he graduated an analyst program. Anthony, the instructors are the real deal. Joseph with a question says, trying to pivot from data engineer to differ, would a SOC analyst be a step towards that?
Okay, so cybersecurity is a data problem. At the end of the day, that's kind of what it boils down to. So if you're looking to get into from where you're currently at right now, you actually have a huge amount of transferable experience that you can start bringing over to a defer type of role. Now, what you may not have is the incident response sort of things and the triage skill set. You don't necessarily need to be a SOC analyst to get there. However, it would strongly help you. Like you're just going to learn so much more. It's time under the belt. It's just getting your reps in. Now, if you have some adjacent experience, because a tier one analyst is not honestly that complex a level of work once you have some experience. If you were to take some training and learn on your own, build a home lab, run some malware through it, nuke it, look at the events and see what happens, look at the reflective behavior, figure out how you can write some type of detection rule to identify it, prevent it, and then write up remediation steps, and then put in some types of controls to prevent it from happening in the first place. You can develop that experience on the side and maybe start somewhere on maybe like a more intermediate or senior type of SOC analyst role, whether that's like a higher tier 1 to mid tier 2. But either way, starting there at some point is going to help you. It's just about how much experience you were able to gather beforehand, truly.
There you go. Perfect. Nice, clean cut, succinct, and right on point. So he's Warden Elf's looking at the syllabus here for the SOC 100 and the CDA program. And you guys are far ahead compared to these other ones. How did you manage to offer the bundle for only $500? So again, the SOC 100 is pay what you can. There's a whole SOC course that's free, but there is paid content, very similar to Simply Cyber Academy, frankly. So I guess the question is, how can you possibly offer all this and not, basically rob people?
So, I think it was old Bezos over there that came up with the quote that there's two types of company, right? Like one that works really hard to charge a lot and one that works really hard to charge a little. That's essentially, we're the latter. We've spent time. You are seeing the result of almost 5 years of us doing this. We were traditionally a live service training provider. We were charging in the thousands for a live training program. We have now been able to map that on-demand training product to anyone at a much more affordable scale. We're not paying for us. You're paying for yourselves. It's still a lot. It's still a lot of money, but we've been able to tweak and tune it and make it specific to your needs to get the cost to a level where it's affordable to you and it's enough for us to continue doing what we're doing without overcharging and also still allowing us to scale and grow. We're also not a company where we're trying to become billionaires, even millionaires, truly. Like we're not. If we could do level effect for the next, I don't know, 25 years, like if we could just keep doing this, keep training people and keep growing, keep scaling, that's our goal. That's our mindset. We're not trying to do this and then bank and 10x and sell and get some investors and hop out. We're bootstrapped. We don't have investors. Like it's just a couple of us. We don't have a sales team. We don't have marketers. We're not charging you for an advertising budget. Put it that way. If I could be more direct and more blunt, you're paying just for the content and the knowledge, and we worked really hard to provide it at an affordable pricing point as a result.
Yeah, and I hope, like as we're saying this, I just typed this to mod chat. Just many of you are here right now are are regulars of the Simply Cyber community, and you know me, and like who I am and how I value things. And like this, what Anthony's talking about right now is what we talked about in our very first conversation, and it just smacks with like Simply Cyber's entire mantra and approach and everything like that, trying to make it accessible to people. It already sucks. There's so many people out there who are being manipulative, and like you said, it's all about money. It doesn't matter. It could be cyber, it could be IT, it could be automotive. It doesn't matter. It's all about like, here's a value prop, and let's max out the cost and everything. So definitely appreciate that. Well, Warden Elf wants an update. I don't know about this, but I guess the CDA program is under construction, like a 1998 website.
No, it's good. Warden CDA program is good to go, man.
There you go.
Yeah, no. We've decided to add on some bonus content to it, but CDA is good to go. You can go through it on your own right now. You can go through the virtual SOC that we have for you, and you can take the CDCP exam with it. We've added in some bonus content we thought would be pretty cool. So we've actually thrown in, well, it's coming really soon right now. We're going to throw in some tier 2+ defer content to really, really push you. So we've got some additional bonus that you're not going to get charged for. That's just kind of like a thank you for all the early supporters and us kicking things off as well. But it's ready.
There you go. You go. Like it's like a mid-90s 2 a.m. infomercial. But wait, there's more. Free differ content. I love it. Yeah. Daniel Carlers wants you to put an answer to the end-all question. Is caffeine required?
I am currently drinking my caffeine. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm currently drinking caffeine. Look, if you can handle it, drink. You're probably gonna be drinking coffee. It comes with the field. It just is what it is.
I have a French press every morning on like live on stream, and like even this morning I was like, oh, chat, I don't know, I'm kind of dragging butt today, and then like I just like guzzled a high octane coffee. Although I will tell you really quick, Anthony, as a fun story, because this is actually a favorite of the community. I got a coffee company wanted to partner with me and like have a Simply Cyber branded coffee. And I was like, well, I'm not going to like shill. You can't just slap my name on it and I'm going to sell it. Like I need to drink it every day or I'm not going to do it. Yeah. So they sent me 5 different samples. I ended up not really liking any of them. So it never came anywhere. But one of them was called Crank. And I'm like, all right, guys, today, like I made it a big thing. Like every day this week, I'm going to try a different coffee. This one's this, whatever. And this one's Crank. And I'm telling you, like, I think I almost had like a heart attack. Like I was just like, like I was like vibrating and jittery. And people have demanded for years have demanded that I get Crank again. Like they'll be like, hey, April Fool's Day, like, let's do Crank, or like New Year's Eve, let's do Crank. And it's just, so I don't know if you've ever had any like truly high octane coffee, but that was too much for me.
I've had that one with a skull in it. I can't remember the name of it now, but that one was pretty big. That's the most I've had. But I don't know, 3 or 4 cups a day. But I would love to see your risk assessment after pounding that. Like just kind of sitting with a team, a change management team or something, being like, all right, here's what it really looks like. Here's your risk. Just kind of laying it on them. Yeah.
I'm sure at the end of the meeting, they would identify me as the biggest risk to the organization. Yeah. Fleetus just brings in a quick point. Fleetus is always dropping information. And like, he's like a mentor in the cybersecurity community and within Simply Cyber. About, you had mentioned tier 1 SOC analyst isn't that hard. Kind of saying like no golden cows here. Like a lot of people don't say it's not that hard. Z-Myth actually pointed out that he was glad you said that. Fleetus says that it's kind of similar to a help desk analyst. Yes. You got playbooks, you got steps, you can escalate, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like when I say it's not that hard, I mean, it's still going to be difficult, like to get there for sure. But I mean, it's not that hard in terms of, relatively speaking, some of the more like senior roles, like tier 2 and up. It's exactly what you're saying, Fleetus. The tier 1 role is it's playbooks, it's procedures, it's policy as much as possible. And it's you just sort of triaging those false positives, which a lot are. It's going to be a lot of just sort of repetition work, getting your reps in, exposure. Have we seen this before? Okay, apply this recipe to it kind of thing, which is your playbook or your process. So that's kind of what that is. And yeah, it is kind of similar to the help desk role. We don't want you to deviate too much. And if you are, there's a problem with the process. In fact, there's a problem with your governance. That's what that really leads to. If you're having SOC analysts that don't know what to do, Your GRC side is the one that's got to kind of kick inside there. You're going to hear me rep that up quite a bit. Your security program is what needs tweaking and tuning, not the SOC analyst. So,
oh, there you go. Yeah. So there you go. GRC for the win. See, we are everywhere. We are everywhere. We're like a secret network of operators. We're like Assassin's Creed kind of people.
Yeah.
To your point, Carrie actually said it's Death Wish coffee.
Yes.
Coffee.
I saw that in the chat a couple of times. Yes, Death Wish is the one that I had. I had a whole bag of that for a while. That's good coffee. That's what you need when you really need to get going.
I like it.
Yeah.
Carrie also wanted to know, since you just mentioned GRC, he wants to get into GRC. He's working on some training and stuff. Any thoughts, Anthony? Does understanding how SOC analysts work help with GRC work, or maybe focus somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, I think so for sure. But I think there's a lot of different ways to get into GRC than there is from a SOC analyst type of comparison. If you kind of look at both, right? Like with GRC, you're really just sort of trying to mitigate and minimize the level of general security risk. And that comes from identifying security threats, where you're vulnerable, and then putting controls in place to prevent them before they actually become a SOC analyst ticket. That's what you're trying to do. Like, you don't want it to become a ticket for the SOC analyst. So if you want to get there, by me just saying that, you don't necessarily need to be a SOC analyst then to be able to do that. There's a lot of transferable adjacent experience to help you out there. And I've seen accountants, I've seen anyone like in auditing, I've seen people who are like operational or risk management types of positions, coordinators. All of them have very strong idea and ability to map essentially multiple different pieces of information and data and correlate them to the needs of a business. So that's all transferable and all relative. And all you need to do is just sort of get the security lens under your belt and the different compliance frameworks, the needs from a security lens of technical controls, and you could start as like a GRC associate. I believe that. So I don't know if you tell me otherwise.
No. I think it's good. I think they all map together, honestly. And especially at the entry level, like, here's like at the entry level for any role, it's going to give you a deeper understanding and appreciation of the bigger picture, right? That's one thing. So really quick, one thing that, so I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I have a couple degrees, right? So I went through formal education and college and stuff, and you don't need that to work in the industry. But and sometimes people even kind of like dunk on me. Like there's like a couple people in our community or our industry that like almost like poke and prod at me for having advanced degrees.
Yeah.
But for me, for my value, like, I think first of all, I'm a lifelong learner. Second of all, I love cybersecurity, like everything about cybersecurity. I don't work in digital forensics, and I took like a mobile digital forensics course a couple weeks ago because it's just cool. Like for me, if you just do pen testing and you're really good at pen testing, that's awesome. But like you're like a spider graph or a spider chart with only like one dimension going out. Like you're missing the bigger picture. Like you're missing how they all interact with each other. And it's not just a GRC thing. It's like knowing how the SOC works and what detections look like and the challenges they're suffering. Understanding that not every weakness needs to be mitigated or patched or anything, because some of them are bull crap. Right. So for me, it's just, it's a greater appreciation and value for understanding. So for me, there's no, you don't lose anything by getting a GRC SOC or a SOC analyst entry-level job and then pivoting to GRC, because you can bring that knowledge with you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Totally agree with you, man. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Like I'm so passionate about that,
I totally agree with you. Like one of the streams I did actually a couple weeks back is when we started to get into the GRC space. And one thing I drew is I kind of put like a giant square in the screen. And I was like, okay, if you look at this square, this outer perimeter is GRC. And then as you keep closing in and you put like squares within squares and layers of kind of like a nesting doll, as you get further and further in, those are your cybersecurity technical roles. They get further and further in and more technical. But to even have that role in the first place and understand why you need it, if you're missing the why and the purpose and the need of having a security program in the first place, you're missing out. Like you have a very one-directional view, and you may be wondering like, hey, I'm really good, really technical, but I can't advance. like what's happening. And maybe because a lot of the language for the way that you're presenting value is not communicating the business needs. And a business is there to make money, and we need to reduce risk to be able to do that.
Dude, you're gonna give me all the sounders.
Straight cash, homie.
Whenever we talk about money, we get that Randy Moss straight cash, homie. I love that one.
Cash. Yeah.
Hey, really quickly, if you're over on LinkedIn watching, you might not be getting some of the links that when we type in chat. So first of all, thanks for being here. If you want, you can come over to Simply Cyber YouTube channel. You can go to simplycyber.io /learn, I think, or /streams, or go to youtube.com/@simplycyber. But Iris asked for a link to the website. So Iris, I've put it right there. It's right in front of Anthony's chest. It says website leveleffect.com. That is the website that we were talking about a little while ago. So one question, Anthony, that comes up often is, do I need to know how to program? Like people like, do I need to understand networking? Do I need to understand operating systems? How deep do I have to go? And people will always end up saying, do I need to know how to code? Yeah. What is your take on the importance of coding and value of understanding programming? And what do you tell people?
So I think, I don't think you need to do anything to start in cybersecurity other than, like, you have to kind of choose your technical paths at that point. The only thing that you need to do is understand, if you're going technical, how computers and networks work and transfer data back and forth, and how permissions and policies are managed. Like that's like the need. That is the base need at a technical level. And the GRC side supports that with controls and documentations and frameworks to make that easier. So that's like the precursor answer. Now, if you kind of keep going with that and look at it further, the need to know how to program, if you learn how to program, it's just going to really enhance your knowledge of the computer operating system, networking, data, managing it, policies, and permissions. It provides another way for you to optimize that ability and enhance and enforce that knowledge. If you have the time and bandwidth, you should be looking to learn how to program to some degree if you're going purely technical, scripting, programming, because you're going to learn so much more about the operating system and the dependencies and where things can go wrong and be abused. And that's what we're trying to prevent happen from technical security controls that we implement, both from a GRC recommendation and a technical implementation at the engineering analyst level. So you see what I mean? I can't really just say you need to. It's going to be the whole, it depends. And if you have the time and bandwidth, yes, because it's just going to make those base need components that much stronger.
I 100% agree. I also think I always recommend to students and people who are asking, Python is a phenomenal way to learn. And without getting super nerdy, there's different types of programming paradigms, right? So there's scripting languages or interpreted programs, which is what Python is. And then there's like compiled programs, which would be like an executable or like an ELF file. And looking at those and programming, and those are typically much more complicated, like object-oriented programming. But a scripting language like Python is very lightweight. You don't have a lot of formal structure that you need to do, where you miss a semicolon and the whole thing collapses on itself. So I strongly recommend Python. But another thing that you didn't mention, Anthony, that I strongly push on too, is that as a practitioner, if you say you're working in the SOC, right? So SOC Analyst 1, you're probably not going to get asked to look at malware. But if something comes through, or it gets caught in a filter or something like that, or EDR fires, if you understand at least how a program works, like what conditional loops are and what variables are and what obfuscated code looks like, you'll be better at doing your job. So you don't even need to be able to crank out code that works. You can just reading it. It's like reading Spanish versus being fluent in Spanish, right? You can kind of figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just going to make each facet of what you do technically that much more enriched, that much more effective, the more you can do it. 100%.
Oh, there you go. I love it. What language do you recommend people take on for their first?
Python is nice and easy to work with. They call it the language you can learn in a weekend for a reason. It's also really applicable to a lot of engineering positions, data analytics and data science positions, which, again, you heard me say it, cybersecurity is a data problem at the end of the day. So Python, you can't go wrong with that. But you also need to sort of figure out If you want to get really Windows heavy, PowerShell is a fantastic scripting language for the Windows OS and for the Active Directory and server environment. That's going to benefit you tremendously if you start getting bored in that space too. Python's a great start. You're going to learn all the various programming languages and concepts with a really easy to work with language, and then you can go further from there.
I love it. Sean says he's a big fan, looking forward to it. He's taking Python after. You're going to be taking algorithms, dude. Good luck. Like algorithms is did you take algorithms? Like, do you have a computer science degree, Anthony?
I don't have a degree. No, I'm
Okay.
self-taught. I taught myself how to program on the web app side. Yes, algorithms are a bit of a pain, but
I love it. Yeah. There's like a classic textbook for algorithms. It's like this thick. You will hate it, Sean. No offense. Just kind of like laying the groundwork. You'll be like working on finite state automatons and stuff like that. Like nothing to do with programming. But anyways, Bearded Ruckus wants to know when the level effect onesies are coming out. Is this an inside joke for the community?
I don't think it needs to be. I think this should be a thing. Personally, I think we need a proper swag store stood up with level effect onesies. I agree with you, Bearded. I think we might just have to do this.
I love it. There you go. The Simply Cyber has a merch store that I always forget to tell people about, but I can definitely show you. It's pretty pass through, which is kind of cool. Nice. Our Durga Sai Ganesh has basically the perfect question for a co-founder of Level Effect. Tons of academic experience, zero hands-on experience. What do you do?
Well, if you want experience and you want an entry-level position and you can't get a job to get you there along the way, you're going to need to get that experience another way, and you're going to do that with a home lab. You're going to build a malware analysis home lab after you learn how to, and then you're going to nuke it. You're going to detonate malware through it, and you're going to perform SOC analyst work in that home lab until you feel competent for you to start working your way into the field. In the meantime, highly recommend you keep on applying to IT entry-level positions, help desk 1 and 2 types of jobs, and hopefully that can help you get there along the way. But a home lab is going to be how you get the most relatable and demonstratable experience for a technical position. You got to show it. Look, if you're going to try to hire like a carpenter or maybe electrician and you want them to come in your home and they have no experience, how are you going to feel, right? If they just have like the title, maybe you're going to say, hey, like, show me your portfolio, show me your work. We like to refer to cybersecurity a lot as like trades for a reason, because I think it's really relatable in that way.
It really is. And I feel like it doesn't get the appropriate trades apprenticeship paradigm because it's technical and it's not like blue collar work. You're not getting up at 6 a.m., smoking a pack of Marlboro Reds and, pounding coffee. But Fleetus also wants you to know, in addition to your home lab, you do want to pick up Excel, the love language of GRC people, for sure. Hey, really quick, we have another tradition we do here, Anthony. Normally, it doesn't happen on Simply Cyber Firesides, but James P. is late, but he's here, and he's a first-timer, so welcome to the party, pal.
Nice.
We always play our... You recognize that?
Yeah, Die Hard.
Yeah, just the recent holidays, right? Of course.
Yeah.
Are you in the camp of Die Hard's a holiday movie? We had a big fight recently.
It's totally a holiday movie. Look, it's a great holiday movie. That's what it is. Especially the machine when he writes that on the shirt without spoiling for anyone.
Yeah. No. Perfect. Well, dude, if you haven't seen Die Hard yet, come on. But I appreciate it. Like, again, you are absolutely vibing with me. I do try to throw in some Gen Z terms from time to time. So Gen Z, let me know if I'm using it right. For the feel, right, or for the culture or whatever. Kind of stepping into my out of my element. So hey, let me ask you. So Anthony has told us that he is streaming every Saturday and Sunday. What time was it?
10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern every Saturday, every Sunday. Actually, you know what? I'm going to send you the SOC 100 stream calendar. It's on the website. That shows you all the upcoming streams. And this chat's pretty wild. I'm loving these comments on the side. Like, please come to the chat on the weekends if you guys can make it, because you're really engaged, and I would love to have you there.
Yeah,
not trying to snipe your audience, man, but
no, that's what I was going to ask you. Is like so this is what you're seeing right now is kind of tame for the Simply Cyber community. Just so you know, they're behaving quite nicely. So you guys can see this. This is the SOC 100 class calendar. It has dates. Wait, hold on one second. It has. Oh, geez, what are we doing, buddy? Oh, okay. So apparently I can't zoom in right now. That's frustrating. My power tools aren't working. But
Yeah.
you could see here, the schedule is all laid out. We have bonus streams. We got what you can expect that day. So if it's something you're already good at, like Windows or Linux, you could skip it or whatever. I'm gonna drop a link to that. This is really cool that you have this here, Anthony. And yeah, chat. Seriously, the reason I had Anthony on today was literally because I love what he's doing. I love what he represents. I love his, I guess, your morality alignment, if you will, which is getting a little, philosophical, but like, it's just, he's absolutely Team SC. So that's why I brought him on. I'm going to drop a link to this in chat right now. So that is the link. I'll pin it for everybody. And I was going to ask you, Anthony, like how is streaming? Because obviously I stream probably like 7 or 8 times a week, and you're streaming on weekends doing this course. How is streaming for you?
Honestly, it's fun. Like it doesn't feel like work. I can't really explain it. Like the time goes by. You get off like you're a little bit tired, like you normally would be after doing something for 4 hours, because we do a 4-hour stream, but it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like you're hanging out with people. You're talking about the same things of interest. You're seeing people grow and learn and share information with one another. I think it's fun. I really enjoy it, and I think honestly, I want to do more like this, because the live streams in the weekend are still structured to be more in like the professional grade level of like, okay, we're going through the course. We don't want to get too off topic. We can't go off tangents. I think I would like to do more of things like this with the streams coming up after SOC 100. Have them a little bit more casual, a little bit more off the cuff, a little bit less like, oh, this is going to be recorded and put into a course after. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
more of that flavor. I love it. I think it's great. I'm having a blast.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, not that you asked, but I'll just offer like one idea that's pretty I mean, so
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I just do this all the time. So like, whatever. But if you're going to be cutting it, like a pre-show banter, Anti-Siphon, Black Hills, they do that, and it's pretty fun. It's like basically 30 minutes of like, memes and talking and stuff. That's cool. On our daily cyber threat brief, we actually do something called jaw jacking, which is like a 30-minute afterwards where people can kind of share stuff, and we answer questions as well too. So it's pretty fun, but I'm with you 100%. Like it almost seems like a missed opportunity not to hang out and high five everybody and have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when school's done, you're all hanging out, kind of walking home, not sure where to go. It's like, all right, what are we going to do tonight? Yeah. So that kind of thing.
I love it. We only we have 8 minutes left. So tell us.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Isn't this
Wow.
dude, time flies when you're having fun. And let me just address the community. Some of the community members are like, what are you talking about, Jerry? Like, okay, you guys are all awesome. I'm not saying that you're rowdy, wild, roadhouse type hooligans up in here. I'm just having some fun.
Nothing wrong with that, though. If it's roadhouse, that's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, they always bring the heat, though. It's so funny. So I normally have guests on. I mean, I always have guests on my channel, but I go on other people's channels from time to time, not often. But when I do, like the Simply Cyber community comes, and they're like the people who are hosting the webinar, the talk, or whatever. They're like, "Holy crap, this is wild! Like it's never like this." And I'm like, "Yeah, like we come, we roll deep, dude. Like what are we doing?" It's awesome. So let's talk about level effect. You guys have the SOC 100. Pay what you can courses that are phenomenal. Lots of people in here. You're streaming Saturdays and Sundays, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern Standard Time, right? And just mad value for free for everybody. What is on the horizon for level effect? What can people who are already kind of in your community, in your ecosystem, what can they expect coming down the pike in the next, 3 to 6 months?
We got something real big cooking. Pay attention to our socials soon. We got something real big you don't want to miss. We're going to be talking about that over the coming weeks. So cryptic teaser right there, but it's going to be big. Something that we've wanted to do for a while that is going to be really collaborative, really people involved, student involved. It's not going to be another Cyber Defense CTF that we did, but it's going to be something bigger. So teaser on that. What else is coming up is we are going to expand more on the intermediate advanced training tracks. We've laid the foundation now like I said, literally, like we take you from here's Windows Notepad to here is a lateral movement attack happening inside of Elk with like for those not familiar, right? Like using a SIEM for log and event analytics. So we've got that. We've got that now. So now we're going to actually be focusing a lot more in that intermediate advanced bracket. We have a lot of plans for DFIR. Those of you that are interested in anything digital forensics incident response, we're going to be having more content on that. And we're going to be moving away from these behemoth monolithic 14-week types of courses, right? We're going to be starting to get more around the like, here's a 3-day kind of course you could do the weekend with us, like show up. It's going to be like going to school over the weekend kind of things. That's what we're going to be focusing on now that we have the groundwork laid out. So a couple cool things coming up in that regard. DFIR, big event, really big event, and more of that intermediate advanced bracket as well.
All right. So you said subscribe to the socials. Clarify, like
Yeah.
LinkedIn, Twitter, like where are we going to get this update of this big drop?
You're definitely going to get on LinkedIn and on our Discord as well. Don't have to join another Discord, but cool if you do. I know everyone's got so many, but you can get us over there, LinkedIn, Discord, and if you feel like getting another email, it's going to be in our newsletter. We're going to talk about more as well. So a couple different channels.
I'm trying to pull up Level Effect here. You can see you're talking about Level Effects LinkedIn, right?
Yeah,
not YouTube.
Not mine. It'll be on Level Effects. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the Level Effect LinkedIn. I'll drop a link for everybody, but just so you could see what the graphic looks like. That way you don't subscribe to a different poser Level Effect one. Here, let me see Level Effect on LinkedIn. All right, so you can subscribe to that. And where? How do I get on the newsletter?
So you go to our website, go to leveleffect.com, and then I believe it's in the bottom. I think it's on the bottom, which should be at the top, right? It's right there. Enter your, which is not even loading properly. Oh, shame on us.
No, this is a sign of a company that's more interested in like helping than it is about optimizing for
like
SEO.
I said, we don't have a marketing and sales team. Okay, it's just us instructors kind of doing our thing, teaching y'all. So
I love it. So go to Level Effect, and then injure your finger rolling down as far as you have to go, and you can get on that newsletter right there. I would recommend the LinkedIn one for a little bit more punchiness impact. I'm being playful, obviously, Anthony. Like,
of course.
It's great. So we've been talking with Anthony Bendas. It's been a phenomenal conversation about Level Effect and how they're helping everybody. You can see him right there. He's a smart dude, obviously, as he's been blowing your minds. This is Level Effect's website. They have this training course for beginners, pay what you can, SOC 100 series. You go from learning how to open Notepad all the way to detecting lateral movement in the SIM, like true practical hands-on SOC skills. So if you're looking to get practical SOC skills, you can get it. You can do it this way, or you can just, anonymously, like a lurker, go on to his Twitch right here or his YouTube right here. And Saturdays and Sundays. So the weekend where, it's available live 10 a.m. to noon Eastern, you can be there. If you're working or 10 a.m. Eastern is the middle of your night because you're in Australia or something, you can watch it on replay. There's multiple options. The stream schedule is right here. So you can actually put it on your calendar and figure out what, if it's truly important and you truly want to do it, you have to prioritize it. That's at the end of the day. Like you can give, put water in front of someone, but you can't make them drink it, right? Like it's here. All of it's here and it's low to no cost. I friggin' love it. Anthony, any final thoughts for our community today?
Yeah, look, I think I'll leave off with this. So cybersecurity is an amazing industry. It's really rewarding. It's really valuable to be in once you're here because you're preventing a level of threat that people can't see. It's so hard to see the threats that come in from this industry. And our industry is really about when everything is good, like you don't hear from us. And there's a lot of value in being able to provide something of that complexity to do it so well that you never hear of anything because of everything being controlled behind the scenes. I really encourage anyone that's been thinking about cybersecurity, if you are looking to get into this, it's a great field. Just take your time with it. It's not entry level. Take your time, work your way through it. We're all here to support you. We all need specialists and more training personnel inside this field. And it's just a matter of showing up and doing the work and working with one another, and just, find a good community. Ours, Simply Cyber, there's two great communities for you to hop inside of here. And either of us together, even on the stream, like, we'll find a way to get you there if you just keep showing up and asking questions and putting the work in. So I also want to kind of add that in, because I know that the industry as a whole right now, there's a lot of talk, right? Like, yes, it's harder to get in. Yes, there's layoffs that happened in the past, and that's true. But don't let that deter you. I think we've got a really great field here ahead of us. And for those of you that want it, it's available. Just go for it. Okay. That's all I want to share.
I love it. I love it, dude. Thank you so much, guys. We have been talking to Anthony Bendas, co-founder over at Level Effect. Go to leveleffect.com. They have pay what you can, entry-level training for the SOC, very practical, very hands-on. You've been listening to him today. You understand what his vibe is, right? What's important to him in community. And it's just phenomenal. I truly, on behalf of the Simply Cyber community, want to extend a wholeheartedly appreciation and thank you for your time today, Anthony.
Thank you for having me here. It's been really good, man. I enjoyed it. It's a different format than I thought. I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. I'm glad you did. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. Remember, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, we have the Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief. It is the first Friday of the month, which is a special day. We will be doing bingo during the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, and we'll have the Cybersecurity AMA that is not going to be streamed or televised on the Discord server at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Come join us. Have fun. Kick off the weekend in style. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber on behalf of Anthony Bendas. Thank you all so very much. And until next time, stay secure. Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that content. Keep the cybersecurity train going by connecting with the other Simply Cyber community resources. We have the Discord server that's lively and always keeps the conversation going. You can connect with me directly on LinkedIn. And also every single weekday morning on the Simply Cyber channel, we're doing live daily cyber threat briefings, 8 a.m. Eastern time, as well as Thursday at 4:30 p.m. We're doing live stream interviews with industry experts, and we produce videos that we push out every Wednesday morning. I'm Jerry.